Hello, Professor Espronceda and my fellow online classmates. Today I will present to y'all my presentation on Pablo Picasso. Pablo Picasso was born in 1881 in Malaga, Spain. He started painting and drawing at a very young age. Picasso's father, Jose Ruiz, was also a painter himself and recognized Pablo's talent at a very young age. This is Picasso's first painting at the age of 8. It's called the Picador. As you can see, this is a very nice painting for an 8-year-old. Pablo Picasso's father taught him the basics of formal and academic art training. Picasso attended many art schools during his childhood. Many of those his father taught. He never finished his studies at the Academy of Arts in Madrid, dropping out after only a year. In the early years of the 20th century, Picasso, still a struggling youth, began a long-term relationship with Fernande Olivier. It is she who appears in many of the Rose period paintings. After garnering the fame and some fortune, Picasso left Olivier for Marcel Humbert, whom Picasso called Eva. Picasso included declarations of his love for Eva in many Cubist work. Eva was diagnosed with cancer, and during her rapid deterioration, Picasso administered to her every need, making daily trips across Paris to visit her in the hospital. The Blue Period. Shortly after moving to Paris from Barcelona, Picasso began to produce works that were filled in blue. This particular pigment is effective in conveying a somber tone. The trigger for these depressing paintings was the suicide of Picasso's friend. The Blue Period work is quite sentimental, but we must keep in mind that Picasso was still in his late teens, away from home for the first time, and living in very poor conditions. As you can see, these are two paintings of Pablo Picasso's during the Blue Period: Le Gourmand in 1901 and The Tragedy in 1903. As you can see, these two paintings are filled in blue. Now we're going to talk about the Rose Period. In 1905 to 1906, Picasso's palette began to lighten considerably, bringing into distinctive beige of rose tone. The subject matter also less depressing. First appearances by the circus performers and clowns that will populate Picasso's paintings at various stages through the rest of his long life career. Here are two paintings from the Rose Period: The Acrobat of the Young Harlequin in 1905 and The Family of the Saltimbanquis in 1905. Now I'm going to talk about the most important part of Pablo Picasso's career: Cubism. In late 1906, Picasso started to paint in a truly revolutionary manner, inspired by Cézanne's flattened depiction of space, and working alongside his friend George Braque. He began to express space in strongly geometrical terms. These initial efforts at developing this almost sculptural sense of space in paintings are the beginning of Cubism. In 1918, Picasso married Olga Kovlovka, a ballerina with Sergei Dalili troupes, for whom Picasso was designing a ballet in Rome. Kovlovka introduced Picasso to a high society, formal dinner parties, and all the social circles with life of the rich in 1920s in Paris. The two had a son, Paolo, who grew up to be a dissolute motorcycle racer and a chauffeur to his father. Between the wars. The collaboration between Picasso and Braque ended by the First World War. After the war, Picasso, reflecting society's delusionment and shock with technological horrors of the war, reverted to a classic mode of representation. He also continues to push Cubism into new paths. In 1930, Picasso becomes tangibly connected with the Surrealist movement. Although Andre Breton tried to recruit Picasso, he remained aloof from any school of art through his career. Another painting that attracted my attention was Picasso's Guernica painting. Picasso's Guernica is unique, and unlike any other photograph or painting of the historical war scene, historical photographs show scenes and capture moments in time, but when reviewing them, an intangible wall exists between the viewer and the photograph. The difference between photographs and original paintings is that paintings allow the viewer to break through the wall and actually experience the feelings and emotion expressed in the painting. As you can see, there's bullfights. It's a painting that Pablo Picasso used to draw when he was younger. He loved drawing paintings of bulls. Picasso's late works. In the last 2 decades of his long career, Picasso produced more work than any other time of his life. During this period, some works are not only dated by a month and a day, but with numeral 1, 2, 3, etc., indicating multiple works created in that single day. This late period tends to be overlooked, but contains some of the finest of Picasso's paintings. Some critics maintain Picasso was creatively lazy at this point. Regardless of your position on Picasso's personal and artistic life, each of us can, in view our own mortality, be awed by his final self-portrait. Throughout Picasso's lifetime, his work was exhibited in countless occasions. Most unusual, however, was in 1971, the exhibition of the Louvre in Paris, honoring him in his 90th birthday. It was the first time a living artist had been honored there. He died in 1973. In 1980, a major retrospective showing of his work was held at the Museum of Modern Art in New York City. My dad loved Pablo Picasso. Ironically, his name is also Pablo. Pablo Picasso was probably the only artist during his lifetime that was famous during the time he was still alive. That is why he's probably the greatest artist of all time. And his Cubism era was probably the most historical of all time. I would like to thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to present my presentation of Pablo Picasso. Thank you all.